Okay. Sorry, it's been a bit since I've last uploaded, talked and uploaded onto the YouTube platform or my channel. Sorry. Um, I was just looking at stuff and not caught off guard, but seeing all the layoffs that was going on with Meta, Twitter, their layoffs, but also some stuff that's going on with Twitter as far as the blue verification, which is pretty funny. Um, Honestly, it's a mess. Seeing that like a lot of the engineers, that a lot of the majority, what seems like the majority, were pretty much. It seems like engineers um, that were let go from Twitter. So there's an influx of engineers there. Quite honestly, it's a little surprising. Um, but it seems like they're going to be working on products, whatever products they can. Uh, it's to the point where you have an influx of engineers that recruiters that were talking to me out of the blue. I was just out of curiosity, just testing it out, seeing how they did, or testing the market a little bit, really, more than anything else. Finding out that um, when they were like knocking on my doors, now they stopped, which makes absolute sense. Now, when you see an influx of engineers out there looking, you're going to go for the people that are coming up from Facebook, from Stripe, from Twitter, um, because to get in there, you have to be pretty bright. More than anything else, question is will these companies that are looking to hire, will they essentially pay them what they were being made there, or are these uh, laid off engineers willing to take a salary cut? It's up to them, honestly. Quite up to them at this point, honestly. Um, Unless too they decide to start their own thing too, which is not going to be uncommon. To be quite honest, I mean, like a lot of companies came out as a result of recessions. I mean, look at in the 2008 uh, recession. Um, at that time, Uber, Airbnb, um, I don't want to say Twitter, but yeah, Uber, Airbnb, Foursquare when it was popular back then, Groupon for that matter. Um, they gained more prominence as a result through that. Uh, then, of course, in 2000, like the dot com era, a lot of companies were going under, but some managed to stay through, like the eBays, Amazons, and Googles for that matter. But then there were some that came as a result of it too, knowing how to be frugal and coming up with proper business plans and such. Um, I don't know. I won't be surprised if we start seeing a bunch of newer companies coming out working most likely on the Web3 aspect of blockchain. Some people are saying, like, oh, yeah, cryptocurrency is dead. It could be, maybe not, depending. With this FTX the fiasco that's going on, um, I would not be surprised if some of these guys that were part of Facebook and whatnot, when they were working on the metaverse and such, or on the crypto world, or the blockchain world, sorry, are going to be working on their own dApps uh, in the Web3 and be a forefront in the Web3 aspect, to be quite honest. More often because the fact is like, out of necessity, well, out of I don't want to say necessity, but it is a case of necessity, but also scarcity of capital and money that comes necessity of doing something on your own. If because like there's not as many jobs that are going to be out there as a result of this, so it's a matter of venture VC funding at that point. And the question is, will some of these VCs like start funding these laid off workers? It's hard to say. I mean, there is a couple that have already been in place. I think I forgot the name. Um, there was this one basically where they're willing to fund former Twitter employees specifically. Of course, you have to come up with a great business plan and such, or have a good business plan. But at the same time, um, they're willing to provide VC funding for them because they want to be part of that. What was back then the the PayPal mafia and the DoubleClick mafia, etc. and now it's the Stripe mafia as well too. So they don't want to miss out on this. Where like you miss out on the Stripe or Twitter, Stripe, or even Facebook mafia for that matter. Um, it's going to be an interesting 2 years to be quite to say the least. Say the least. I mean, honestly, um, 3 years from now, it might be another boom. The question is like who will be president at that point? If Trump does run and get elected again, and you see a massive amount of uh, jobs coming as a result, it's most likely because of this recession that happened, and like new companies started forming as a result, and Trump will claim credit for it. If Biden were to run and he comes out as well too, chances are Biden will try to claim credit as well too. Um, Quite honestly, it's going to come down to this basically, just like it was in 2008. Newer companies are going to come out as a result. They're going to be lean and mean. No, not to grow too quickly, but grow to the point where like they know, learning from Twitter and from Facebook, from the mistakes that were made, that now not to grow too quickly because it's not a competition of growing quickly. It's a competition. It's a competition of putting out the right products with the minimum amount of resources that you have. And it was kind of shown in the pandemic a little bit as we had the great resignation, quote unquote resignation, where companies realized, one person lost and we had to replace them with three. We're like, you know what? Maybe we could replace them, not replace them at all, just let someone else take over the spot, basically, add more duties to that person, which we've seen. Um, so it's going to be an interesting next couple of 2 years, and 2024 up to 2024. I would say 2023 is going to be a little bit of downtrodden years for some people. I hate to say it, but 2024 is going to be an interesting year. That's when you'll start seeing things coming about, especially with the election that's coming about as well too. Um, it's a matter of like also government funding at that point as well too, because the fact is like some companies, some aspects of the U.S. government wanting to like now bring back some of the manufacturing jobs. Question is, they could bring back the manufacturing jobs, but probably be all automated at that point, which is another interesting factor as well too. But at the same time as well too, there's that plus also cybersecurity. Probably more cybersecurity firms are going to create, as well as all these new chips, processing chips. Question is like where are you going to get those resources though? That's the question, and I think that's where your next big thing is going to happen. Basically, is the chips as far as getting the materials for those chips. Um, and chances are, I think you might see an increase in space exploration, specifically asteroid mining. You might see some big things as a result of that too in the next coming years, I would say, because resources that are being limited, some of the main components for these chips are limited, but limited to one specific set of country or countries, two or three countries actually, and they're not the U.S. So in those situations, if there were to be a war, well, I don't know why I did air quotes, but if there were to be a war, we're screwed, as well as the rest of the global economy. So, and two countries would survive as a result because they have most of these resources. Um, like I said, I think the next frontier will be space, as far as not space exploration, but space mining. Quite honestly, I think it might be the moon, also Mars, but also more likely these asteroids as well too. Um, from that, I will end it off here because it's 9 o'clock. If you agree, disagree, you're welcome to comment, like or dislike. If you do comment, I would love your feedback, whether you think I'm right or wrong, agree or disagree. I'd love to hear your comments, and also if you do comment, I will try to respond back to it if it's questions directed at me or whatever it may be. You could troll me all you want to. So I don't really care. If you want, you can subscribe to or not. It's up to you. But again, my whole thing is basically this is just me and my opinion, kind of ranting a little bit. If you do see YouTube shorts, they're most likely going to be basically my alternative form of tweeting. But more often than not, it's everything is here is basically unedited, unfiltered, and unrehearsed as you saw. And that's as far as it goes.